Okay, I'm President, Vice President Haybilly,
Present.
Chief of Staff Wing,
Present.
Treasurer Cuthry, Director Arlagunda, Director Simba, Director Shabde,
Present.
Director Kanan,
Present.
Director Shafi, Speaker to House Cabales, Graphic Designer Nguyen, Campus Safety Commissioner Mustafa, Representative Ellen Chaisian, Representative Gomez,
Present.
Representative Amin,
Present.
Representative Martin,
Present.
Representative Patel,
Present.
Representative Meyer,
Present.
Representative Esparza, Representative Sky Larsen,
Present.
Representative Agashe,
Present.
Representative Raoul J,
Present.
Representative Turner,
Present.
Representative Emmanuel,
Present.
Representative Johnson,
Present.
Representative Pickett,
Here.
Representative Khan,
Present.
Representative Abbas, Representative Kim,
Present.
Representative Duden,
Present.
Representative Francesca, Representative Kwan,
Present.
Representative Olamici, Representative Vivo,
Present.
Representative Kumar,
Present.
Representative Shukla, Representative Kapila,
Present.
Representative Rothenbaum,
Present.
Representative Patib, Representative Chabrulu, Representative Patel, Representative Basta,
Present.
Representative Darla,
Present.
Representative Sagantua, Tommy. I don't normally take time. Okay. Representative Stania Kurusu,
Present.
and then Representative Shikoni. All right.
Okay, thank you. Our next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. I just sent it to your Slack right now, so please refresh if you haven't already. And then, in addition to that, are there any additions or corrections to today's agenda? We will continue. Okay, now what we have next is guest speakers. So I now invite the University Library to please come up.
All right. So our friends from the library, you guys can start coming up, but I'm really excited to kind of introduce some amazing partners of USG. We have Professor Ray Ballard, Dean of the Libraries. We have Rodney Chambers, Director of Business and Financial Operations. We have Linda Naru, who's the Associate University Librarian and Associate Dean of Administrative Services. And we have Jennifer Jackson, who serves as an Assistant Professor and the Undergraduate Engagement Coordinator. So these four individuals up here, people that I get to work with, I think I visit them on a weekly basis, almost daily, I think, recently. So I bother them a lot. No, just kidding. Maybe. But they are a very exciting group because if you don't know, I've been talking a lot about the library, and I absolutely love the library. It's a third home for me, and I'm sure it's a third home for many of you. So we're really excited to welcome them as our guest speakers for today. So you all know my guest policy, so technology, please go ahead and put that away. And please give your full attention over to the University Library leadership.
We're trying to get the slide in there. We all.
Do you guys want to introduce yourself while I work this out real quick?
So I can go ahead and start, and then that way give you some time. So once again, I'm Dean Ballard Thrower, and as I like to say, I literally have the privilege of being the Dean of the University Libraries. I affectionately refer to them as the 4x4, and what that means is that we have 4 libraries in 4 locations. So it's the Daily Library, the Library of the Health Sciences Chicago, the Library of the Health Sciences Peoria, and the Library of the Health Sciences Rockford. And so we service all of those 4 libraries. And as you can imagine, our campuses are very different. So we range from supporting undergraduate students, graduate students, and professional students. And so we have the privilege, honestly, of making sure that everything that we do, our primary responsibility is to make sure that we provide the resources and the things that you need so that you're successful. I mean, that really is our primary goal. And so I get to stand here because I get to lead a really awesome team. And so, and part of them are with us today because they are I say the primary touch points for those in the undergraduate program, which is why we have them here today with me. So once again, Rodney Chambers, our budget officer, and our interim head of human resources, Linda Nehru is the associate university librarian, and Jennifer Jackson, one of our faculty, amazing faculty members who hopefully you all have, if you don't know her personally, I guarantee you've been touched by the things that she's done. And so she will tell you a lot about the programming that we do there. And so that's all for me. I had a really cool quote.
So access issues.
That's all right, kind of thing, and then after that, I'll just pass it on to Rodney.
I won't talk more, but I am Rodney Chambers. I'm the Director of Business and Financial Operations for the library.
Here we go. Oh, well, see, yes, everybody wants to take a pause and see collaborating, they were good. Yeah, you just go ahead and do it. Thank you. I know, thank you. And then, yeah, Rodney, you go ahead. You can scroll up.
This is
Sit down.
okay. So, hi, again, I'm Rod Chambers. I'm the Director of Business and Financial Operations for the library. For all of our accounting majors who might be in the room, or finance, our team, along with HR, manages the income and the expenses, both sides of the ledger, the revenue. There is no profit because the library doesn't bring in funds. All of our funds are based on what we get from the state of Illinois, from library IT assessment fees that you all pay each semester, and from our university grants. The library's overall budget, the amount we have to spend every year, is about $21 million. It sounds like a lot, but it goes fast. We're going to go over the next couple of slides with you, just to kind of let you know where things are. I'll preempt you in case anyone asks about internet access and speed, things like that. The library doesn't control that. So at the next meeting, I recommend that you invite University Technology Solutions, excuse my voice. They were able to speak a lot more in depth about internet access and speed. We don't control that part. Okay, so I believe the current fee is about $247 every student pays every semester. That generates about $11 million a year. The library gets one half of that, and Tech Solutions, who you will invite to the next meeting, they get the other half. So as far as ours go, we have maybe $5.5 million, and it goes to several different places. Business portion of that goes to, I won't go over each one of these. These are broad categories, but electronic resources, that's probably the biggest piece of that pie that you all get. You can't see it or touch it or feel it, but you definitely use it whenever you do research or whenever you're shopping online. Journal databases, subscriptions, all of those things fall into our collection. It's called our collection. There is electronic equipment and furniture and repair. The second biggest part of this list is, where's my mouse? Right there, there's future renovations and current repairs. Of that $5 million, we try to put away maybe $500,000 of that every year, just because we know that there's going to be renovations, there's going to be repairs that are needed in the library. So right now we have about $5 million saved. Our hope is to request a matching gift from donors, so we have 10 million, then we can start looking at expansion and more serious renovation in the library. Oh, excuse me. There is security personnel, sorry. So our hours of operation, excuse me, we have to staff the hours of operation. All right, I'm sorry. A year ago, or earlier this year, we had to close, I can't step up. Excuse me, I'll come back, I'm sorry.
We're going to continue with the security?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we started out the year with a shorter schedule than we really wanted to do. We were not open overnights, but through the workings of your president and our provost, we got some extra money to keep the library, the daily library open 4 days overnight, so 24/4, I guess is how you would explain it. Because of those late hours, we like to have security personnel in the building just to keep you safe. An extra person who's working for the library and making sure that everything is going well is very valuable to us because we just don't have the number of staff. It's a very large building. We have to make sure that all 4 floors are safe and everything that's going on in the building is academically related.
Student employment, years ago, we employed up to 105 undergrad and grad students. Most of them are undergrad. We're down to about 50 or 60 now, but we carve out at least about $5.5 million to be sure that we can at least hire some student employees. We want to also contribute to the Student Wellness Center. So students who are experiencing food insecurity, we want to be sure that we can contribute to that. Lastly, full-time staff members, some faculty, some staff members who are student-facing, work in our circulation department, folks like Jeffrey Jackson, who run some of our programming, and some of our graduate student employees. All of them we fund with these dollars. I'm missing a slide. Oh, okay, that's okay. What I had to show you was a pie chart that some of you have seen. One of the gentlemen have seen. But it just shows you that we spent over half of that $5.5 million on our electronic resources. That's a big part of where your money goes. The rest of that, I was just going to show pieces of a piece of pie that shows employment, student employment, that will show staff employment, that will show services, that will show supplies, furniture repair, all kinds of things that happen in the library where hours and hours of work behind that goes into it before you all actually sit in a chair or jump on a line. So there's a lot of work and time and effort that goes behind spending of this $5 million. That is it.
No, it's just the way that things convert over from PDF to Microsoft. This. Slack in case you guys can't see this specifically.
Okay. Right, so this is what we want to show. This is a living, breathing document. It changes every time I update it. Every year, every semester, I update it. So years ago, that green section here that you see, the 53% in collections, that's now reached the halfway mark. At first, we were not spending half of these funds, but the cost of all of these electronic resources has increased. So that's always going to be the biggest part. And then you'll see academic salary, assistant salary, staff, wages, which is the green part on the bottom right. Those are your undergrads. And then the orange pie, or not the blue one, right here, is that here? Right. That's the amount we save every year for future plans. I better stop. Go ahead. Sorry, guys.
So once again, I'm Linda Nehru. I'm the Associate University Librarian for Administrative Services. And the big part of what that would mean to you is that I handle most of the facilities problems in the daily library. And there are lots of things that go wrong in the library. Things break, lights burn out, etc. But we also are pretty heavily involved with USG in terms of getting the facilities or the services that you want from the library to our attention. So a couple of the things that we've done recently, this was a couple of years ago, USG and the library put in a charging locker in the Idea Commons. So that's for your phones or your laptops, etc. They lock up and they charge while you're gone. More recently, we have put in 4 study booths on the 4th floor. We're going to have a grand opening ceremony pretty soon. So there are 4 individual, there are 3 individual, kind of like phone booths, where you can go if you need the privacy for a class, a test, an interview, etc. And there's one 4-person booth if you want to have a small meeting that you can't get a study room for because they're all booked up, or it's just kind of something that happens spontaneously, and all of a sudden you need a room for 4 people to meet in. The hours I said earlier, the longer hours and the security personnel that we need to staff that. That's another request we have from you, and I must say that the numbers overnights are really increasing, and we're glad we did it, and we hope to see you overnight in the library. And then something else we've been doing for quite a while is our textbook program. So we purchase the more expensive textbooks for the 100 and 200 level classes, and we put them on reserve so that they're available for anybody who doesn't want to buy them, has bought an earlier edition and needs to consult the current one. And those are available at the circulation desk in the daily library. We've also in the past couple months have done a series of events with USG, which we really enjoy because it brings you guys into the library for another reason besides studying. Most recently, we had Smooch the Pooch for Valentine's Day, which was very cute, is what it was. Again, we're going to have the booths grand opening, and I can't remember the whole name of this event for tomorrow.
Home away from home, Cocoa and Connection.
Yes, that will be in the lobby of the Daily Library. And that's, you know, events are really important to us because, again, they show a different side of the library besides the reference services, the collections, the study space. And we're always happy to see you in the Daily Library. With that, I'm going to hand the podium over to Jennifer.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, everybody stay. There's too many of y'all in here. Okay, so as was mentioned, I'm Jennifer Jackson. I'm assistant professor and the undergraduate engagement coordinator. So I serve in really two capacities. One, I do coordinate the undergraduate engagement program, hopefully, and I'll talk about this shortly. But I also hope that I am serving as a liaison to you all through some of our partnerships, particularly with our cultural centers, our academic support networks, some of those adjacent services and resources that you all use on a daily basis. In relation to the undergraduate engagement program, I'm not going to read the entire slide, but I have our mission here. But the goal is to have strategic collaborations with campus partners to provide experiential and academic programmatic support that aims to meet the students' holistic needs for undergraduate success. And so really, one of the main tenets of the program is so that you all can build a better relationship with the research process. And for me, my area of study and the thing that matters so much to me is that you all develop a greater sense of belonging. So, to the point about events, hopefully you all have participated in some of our events in the many years that I've been here. But we have the wall of engagement. So if you've ever seen the wall of Post-it notes in Daily Library, that's what that is formally called. If you've ever been to one of our Lunch with the Librarian series, we try to host those at least once a month. And then Study with Snacks, we will typically have that at midterms and at finals, where you can get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a snack. And then one of our newer programs is the Short Reads Book Club. And that is now a year old. And so I just wanted to highlight, these are just some of our programs coming up. Our Short Reads Book Club, we're doing this Thursday in collaboration with the Black Cultural Center. And then we've got some other events that are coming up, and I'll be sure to share these with Nathan and anybody else on the board who wants them. But we've got Oasis Hour, we've got Relaxation Station, we've got the Wall of Engagement. We have another Lunch with the Librarian series. This year we're really focusing on AI, so we're collaborating with different campus partners. This Lunch with a Librarian in March, we're doing in partnership with Technology Solutions. Then we're going to have a Short Reads Book Club with the Women Leadership and Resource Center. And then we're also partnering with the Commuter Center and Off-Campus Life for their Transfer Connect. So these are not all of the events, but I did want to highlight some of the events that we're hosting for March. And again, I will share that with Nathan so that you guys can share that more broadly. And also check us out on UIC Connection. And then lastly, we wanted to kind of use this opportunity to get feedback from you all as a body. And so we've got two questions for you. In a perfect world, if you could have any item, resource, or service for the library to support your success, what would those be? And what does the library do well, or what would you like the library to continue to do?
So it's an open-ended question. I'm just trying to grab my iPad to take notes, but it's on.
I would love to see like more supplies. I feel like that sounds really basic, but when I'm talking like with my friends, like whether it's like staplers or like maybe even Sharpies, that's like one thing I think could really support the success of a lot of students.
See that?
I know this probably gets mentioned a lot. First of all, I just want to say I love the library. It literally is like my third home, like literally. But I just kind of want to see, and this happens like a lot with people, is more charging ports and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people have troubles with that. I know that's an infrastructure thing, maybe in the future for future renovations and stuff like that.
I don't know if it's only me, but my second floor, I really don't like the bookshelves. It's just because like when it gets to rush hour and it's all crowded, I have to lock it for that 1 minute term. It's like there's no space and just like these bookshelves. I don't know if there's like more purpose because I've been opening up some of the books that just like stuff from like the 90s. So if you guys could maybe take some of that stuff down and get some more space, that'd be really cool.
We're working on something. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have an exciting announcement in the near future. Let's stay tuned.
So, I love going to the library, close to finals and whatever, and I feel like one of the things I do whenever I feel lost or just need to, just take a break from studying is I like to venture out into the random spots in the library. So, I found myself going around random aisles and seeing books that I have no clue, where they came from or what the purpose of them are. And it's nice to have, random access to all of these books of knowledge and whatnot. But I feel like there should be like a better idea of organization. Like what exactly am I looking at in specific spots? And like there's huge amounts of areas of knowledge, but not necessarily like organized, themed.
Do you mean in terms of signage or?
I think so. Yeah, that like
There's a signage of the books.
right.
Like
So you know what it is or where you're at or what the genre is or?
Right.
Okay.
Jacob?
Sort of like interlibrary loan system, because I'm not from Chicago, so I don't have any, I can't use like Chicago Public Libraries, but there's a lot of times where I'll be like, oh, I want to read like, I don't know, Kafka, and then, or whatever, and it's not at the library, and since I'm not from Chicago, I can't get it from any other library.
So interlibrary.
So you actually could, I would say, if you could reach out to me tomorrow, we actually have interlibrary loan. And so that's actually one of the services that you all are paying for. So if we don't have the book, you actually have access to 2 different systems. The first is iShare, and so that's academic libraries in the state of Illinois that you all can borrow books from. And then you also have access to Iliad, and that allows you to borrow books from other academic institutions in the country. But both of those are part of interlibrary loan. So if you do want to read Kafka, let me know, and I will help you out first thing tomorrow.
I knew what iShare, but I didn't know what the other.
Yes, so if it's not in iShare, then that's what we'll do. We'll go to Iliad and see what other schools in the country have the book.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have 2 things. I know for one that in the past, especially during the COVID era, there was like loans for personal hotspots or what was it, portable hotspots. I'm not sure if you guys have it now, but I haven't been able to find anything in terms of like portable personal hotspots. Would be for me would be convenient, especially if someone's commuting on the metro, which typically doesn't have Wi-Fi. I feel like that might be a good resource to invest time in, as it may save the person money from buying like extra data plan for a hotspot. I know those are expensive, so.
Victoria?
I'm not sure how feasible it would be, but I've seen online that some schools and campuses have invested in an AI robot that can answer like any question relating to the school/library. So I would see, or I would love to see like you walk around the library with like UIC resources and the library resources program and do it. Just so if I wanted to ask it instead of searching it up on my laptop, I could do that instead. Just would bring like a lot of community and something to talk about in the library.
Yeah.
You
can write that, bro.
What they said, this might be just a neat thing, but like having a general like map when you like walk in would be helpful. helpful because I did, that took me like a year to even learn that there was a third and fourth floor. And I feel like people that don't go, I often don't know that. Like, I don't know, but I want to like check out like books, I don't know where to go. So like,
I have a question. Is library at orientation that you guys go and tell students about the library?
So yes, so that's one of the other things I do for anybody that didn't hear Nathan is the library at orientation. So the library, as long as I've been here, being part of orientation is also part of my job. However, the way that they have structured orientation, we don't get to do a presentation like the other services or colleges. So oftentimes the only time students will see me or other library folks is during orientation marketplace or what's now called Flames Fair. In the past, we've tried different things. We've offered tours and tried to do different programming. The problem is, historically, it's conflicting with other programs that students also want to attend or go to. So oftentimes when we've offered those tours, it's really low attendance. So it's a matter of trying to figure out what our sweet spot could be so that we're not competing with other things that students need to know. And for me, it's really come down to point of need. Most students, you start utilizing the library in weeks 4, 5, and 6 when you have to start doing your research. You're not necessarily thinking about the library that first week. Some people really are because they love the library. I know there's folks in here that do that. But trying to figure out what that sweet spot is and how to get students and parents and families to come has been the thing that I've been working through. We also make sure we do go to things like UIC Ignite or Open House. So we do all of those tabling events as well too. But in terms of figuring out how to orient students on a regular basis and have high attendance has been kind of tricky.
So whenever I go to the library, I find there's a ton of individual study space, like especially on the 3rd and 4th floor, or something that I haven't been able to find as much. It's like a dedicated area where you can meet with, or you can hold space with multiple people. So an area where it's quiet, but also where you can have conversations and you're not disturbing other people. Sometimes there's like tables open on the 2nd floor where you can meet, but it's not as quiet, or they don't have like maybe something to whiteboard to draw on. So it's maybe having, I know you're working on creating more study spaces, but having more study spaces that are that accommodate groups of people would be a good idea.
I think the selection of databases that we have is great. I'm a bio major in sociology minor, so I'm writing a lot of papers that are both STEM and humanities related, and I really haven't had any issues finding sources. It's really satisfying when I open a new paper and then I have access to the journal already. And it's also nice that we learn how to use those resources in English 161 or the LAS 101 seminars and things like that.
Connor?
Kind of going off what he was talking about, but the private spaces at the bottom on the first floor in the idea commons, I really like, where you can reserve a room and it's quiet, so you can have private conversation. I feel like I know you guys have plans to pursue like renovation on the 2nd floor, maybe including more of those. And then something super nitpicky in like the crafts area in the idea commons, the like paper cutting machine is really bad. Like it never comes to Google. So maybe just like sharpen it.
Alright, we'll do 2 more. Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, so I know you guys have an event room that you can look out. It's like one second floor, like the 1st floor. I think that's great. If we could have more event rooms, I think that would be a great way to attract a lot more people to come to the library other than studying reasons. And also, if I'm going to nitpick on something, the elevators are really slow. Hopefully we can get that fixed.
Sarah?
So I actually had a question. So with renovating space, if we were to get rid of like bookcases and stuff like that, like how would you go about, like, I know a lot of the funds goes to like the electronic online system and stuff like that. How would you make sure like the books also go online, but not also like having to spend all the money for the books that are going away? How would you like go about that?
So we do a process that libraries call reading, which means we go through the book stacks and we find books that haven't been checked out for a certain length of time, or certain titles that we have like 5 copies of. So that's one of the ways that we remove books from the shelves. The other way, or while we're doing this process, we also take a look at the holdings of other libraries. So Jennifer was talking about the iShare program. There are 89 libraries in that program, and if 50 of those libraries have this title, we know that we can get it to you in like 2 days. So we're not worried about getting rid of our copy. But there still is a lot of room in the daily library for books, even if we get rid of the second floor. And the second floor has a lot of journal titles, so bound journals, which are definitely available to you online and much easier to use in the online environment.
Thank you.
Don't worry, we're not going to fear an act for by one of these books. Anywho, any last remarks from any of y'all up here? Right, one last question.
I just wanted to say thanks for coming, and then my committee is hosting the home away from home event tomorrow from 11 to 1, so I see you guys there. Just the issue that I've seen me and my friends face is that the second floor gets really crowded, so a lot of people walk in and out, but I feel like with that, the hygiene of the place is also bad and it gets really dirty, so I feel like that's just something to bring into notice. And I also want to say I really like the walls, because when we walk by, we always look at it, and it's always fun to see what's so interesting.
Can we have a round of applause? But we do have a number of events coming up with the library tomorrow. Home away from home, Homecoming Connection tomorrow. We'll have a booth grand opening soon. We'll have Tie Day in the library. And then you'll also see a bill likely next week or the week after with Study with Snacks. So the library undergraduate engagement program and USG will be co-sponsoring that initiative together, which we're very excited about. But the work that USG and the library is a very much a valued partnership. But if you do have more questions or comments or concerns, you can always let me know, and I can always let them know. I do like to visit them quite often and just see them in the library, so I'm always happy to lay your concerns. Or you're more than welcome to speak with them and kind of hound them down if you see them as well. They're always in the library. But thank you so much, and then we'll continue with our agenda.
So yeah, continuing on with our agenda, we'll be returning back to old business. So our first item of old business is Bill 2026 S5 1017. Can I please have the chief sponsor read this?
Whereas campus edition is a program that qualifies for students to be able to belong to UAC, whereas Pi Day has become a widely recognized academic celebration recognized by fanatics to attribute to the life-hearted activities. And whereas lighthearted low-career events that provide student participation, particularly student students and those who classes, whereas there should be plenty of events with pencils, such as both symbolic and giveaway that reinforce academic identity and school spirit, whereas Pi Day celebration is engaging, valuable, and accessible campus experience for students, whereas for the core mission of the UEG is to enhance student life and welcoming building traditions to support social wellness through this program. As a result, that the undergraduate student government shall host a Pi Day celebration on March 15th from 11 to 1 p.m. at the library, designed to encourage student participation. And to be further resolved, that the professionals with the distribution of Pi Days with pencils and single school supply class. And let it be further resolved that USG will allocate $1,500 for the purchase of pies and pencils. Variety of flavors such as apple, cherry, grape, strawberry, and meringue. And let it be further resolved that the event should be open to all USC students with a shirt of promote community, school spirit, and positive campus experiences, and let it be further resolved that any unspent funds shall be returned to the USU budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill? Keep in mind that we'll be voting on this tonight. Okay, seeing that there's no question, we will proceed with voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 S5 1017, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 S5 1017 has passed. Moving on to our next item, could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 S5 5004 please read? Okay, you're right. Yeah, it's me. Okay. So the bill the bill that I wrote was the USG flag, 2025-2026. So whereas the undergraduate student government, USG, is dedicated to recognizing, honoring, and preserving the legacy of student leadership and service to the university, and whereas formally recognizing individuals who contribute to student governance helps preserve institutional memory, reinforce a culture of service and accountability, and acknowledge the collective efforts of sustaining USG year after year, and whereas the undergraduate student government has established a tradition of annually commemorating each academic year as a means of honoring those who serve and work collaboratively in support of student representation and leadership, then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government shall allocate a total of $150 for the purchase and shipment of a 9x12 commemorative USG flag for the 2025-2026 academic year, and let it be further resolved that the USG flag shall be displayed, that the flag shall display the official USG title and academic year, along with the names of the Dean and Student Advisor, the Student Trustee, Executive Board members, Committee Directors, Commissioner, and the House of Representatives, and let it be further resolved that the flag shall be displayed within the USG office as a permanent record and formal recognition of the service, dedication, and collective efforts contributed during the academic year, and let it be further resolved that any unused funds shall be returned to the USG budget. So does anyone have any questions about this before we vote? Yeah.
We have a plaque that are in the USG office, right?
Yeah, it's all along the wall. So we'll just be getting another one for this year. Are there any further questions before we proceed with the voting? Seeing none, we will proceed with the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 S5 5004, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 S5 5004 has passed. Moving on to our next order of business, new business. Could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 S6 1018 please read?
Yeah, this is for Instagram giveaways. The chief sponsors are the Public Affairs Committee, Chief of Staff Ashley, Graphic Designer Dominic. Co-sponsors are President Nathan, Vice President Delay, and Treasurer Akshat. Whereas the Public Affairs Committee is tasked with the job of facilitating communication between USG students, and whereas providing incentives can increase student interactions with USG representatives, and whereas Instagram giveaways will increase student engagement online and increase USG's visibility among the UIC community, and whereas these connections will encourage deeper engagement with the undergraduate student government, allowing students to better understand how their government represents their interests and provide feedback, as well as foster a stronger overall campus community, then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will host 2 giveaways beginning in March. Let it be further resolved that the undergraduate student government will allow $40 for the purchase of giveaway items valued up to $20 each. Let it be further resolved that the Public Affairs Committee will determine the winner by compiling a list of all users who like and comment on the giveaway post and randomly selecting one individual. Let it be further resolved, any remaining funds will be returned to the USG budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, what the giveaway items would be. Would it be more so like gift cards or actual objects?
Right now, we're thinking gift cards, Dunkin', and maybe the bookstore. Yeah, and maybe smaller items at the table.
Are there any other questions before we move on? Okay, seeing no further questions, we will be voting on this one next week. Moving on to our next bill, could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 S6 1020 please read?
I will be reading this bill. This is the Bowling Alley Connecting Student Leaders event. Chief sponsors are as follows. Whereas the Public Affairs Committee is tasked with the job of facilitating communication between USG and students. And whereas creating opportunities for students to come together in a fun and interactive environment will allow students to foster better connections with their peers and their student government representatives. And whereas these connections will encourage deeper engagement with the undergraduate student government, allowing students to better understand how their government represents their interests and provide feedback, as well as foster a strong overall campus community. And whereas striking into finals and the Flames forced pregame parties have been successful in bringing students, staff, other organizations, and USG members together while providing an environment of networking, socialization, and fun, then let it be resolved the undergraduate student government will organize and host the Connecting Student Leaders at the bowling alley during the month of April to provide students with a welcoming space to meet USG representatives, collaborate with other organizations, and learn about student government initiatives.